Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to team meeting number 51. You might see below that we don't have Rob in here at the moment. Rob is on a bus on his way somewhere. So he might come on in a little bit, but we'll have to do this without him. So for today's team meeting, we have maybe some questions from the faculty, business development, course building for Oplerno is coming on. Course building for Oplerno. We had an outage today, which I'm going to inform you about, and we have a staff update. So let's go first to questions from faculty. Dan, do we have any questions from the faculty?
Not this week. Oh, nothing, public serving.
So if you're watching as a crowdcast, remember that you can add, and you can also use the chat functionality to your right-hand side to ask your questions as well. So then we can respond to them on air. We have some new courses though, Dan.
Yeah, we do. We have some getting very close to being complete. A class called Introduction to Integrated Rural Tourism, which would be great for either professionals in tourism departments of states or towns or even national scale. It's a Vermont-based instructor, which it makes sense because most of our tourism is rooted in our rural landscape and sort of agricultural tradition. It would also suit students in Parks and Rec programs nicely. Or even, even not necessarily recreation or marketing, but town officials or even city board members who are thinking of ways to integrate tourism into perhaps their town's ability to get revenue or garner attention or attract businesses or folks visiting. Because there was actually a thing on the radio here last week about how tourism has led to our, Vermont's at least, ability to attract folks like, we have an IBM microchip plant here and a lot of these other digital companies that are not on huge scale. They're medical software companies, but hundreds of employees, and a lot of those were started up here because someone came on vacation, loved the environment, the landscape, the people, and said, let's start a business up here with this quality of life. So, if anybody works in development for any sort of municipality, this might be a great way to round out your abilities as a contributor to your committee or whatever level you're at, or just ideas and ways to get folks to visit your town or state or whatever. And we're also finishing up Introduction to Sustainability, Michael Abrams' course. That would be part of our Sustainability in Science certificate, and it's a course that's rooted largely in the ecological economic field and understanding sustainability not just as the buzzword of, this product is sustainable because we used recycled plastic for the bottle, more in a holistic sense, literally as a piece of the whole. Sustainability in business, sustainability in economics and society, sustainability in our environment, social sustainability, because that word reaches far more than just the buzzword of a green movement. It's business needs to be sustainable, and that doesn't always mean what we've associated that word with now, and so it's important to sort of keep that understanding alive, and that's what this course will help do. We are also coming along really well with Dr. Kaiser's course building for Oplerno faculty. They're going to be, again, 4 levels of instruction, and you can take any one or the suite of them as they go through. Anything from beginners to advanced sort of tweaking and learning the more nuanced features of Canvas and online instruction. There will also be private sessions available that are at an hourly rate, just like any other private lesson you would get for any other skill or knowledge base, and yeah, but if you take one of the 2-week courses, you can jump into private sessions without any orientation, and sort of it's kind of a way to save some money and get a lot more bang for your buck, I guess. So those are that's the update for where our course building is at. A lot of stuff coming up. We have some folks jumping back in, looking forward to summer and fall, who are getting through their spring semesters at their traditional institutes of higher learning and are getting ready to re-up their Oplerno involvement. So keep an eye out for that.
Oh, yeah, great. Thanks for the updates, Dan. Yeah, I was recently reading, can't remember where it was, about Florida not using the word sustainability anymore. So it's absolutely something that we should certainly use.
And here's a Daniel. Did you post this question from one of our professors?
Yeah.
So is Oplerno receiving requests for specific courses or courses of study? I imagine the question is from students. What are those courses? If so, I know that originally college writing was one, but you've recently added that course. Are there other English courses needed? I do have interested students, but do not want to duplicate something or offer something that no one but a few of my former students might like. Okay, so I'll just go through those. Are we receiving requests for specific courses or courses of study? Not lately, not directly. You know, I don't mind reiterating this point because I do so strongly believe in it that we are completely open, and I think it's only healthy to have multiple offerings, even if their teaching content would overlap between faculty members. Again, between teaching style, start date, price, course content, skills taught, each course is going to be different. And even if you look at a state university of 15,000 to 30,000 students, you're going to see 20 to 40 English 1 sections. You're going to see 5 to 10 calculus sections, and those are offered all at the same in the same semester by different teachers, and it still works. I know our model's a little different in that way, where it's sort of more incentive based to enroll as many students that you can within the 25 student limit, or as many as you feel comfortable within that limit. But again, we should be aiming our sights to attract as many students as we can and reach as many students as we can. So it shouldn't be an issue going forward. So are there other English courses needed? Yeah, my thoughts are intro courses to me seem the most logical because we can perhaps reach high school students, students who needed to get their general ed requirements for their degrees going, and most degrees require an English 1 style 101 whatever writing course. But again, you could have a literature course, you could have a creative writing, you could have poetry, you could have. It's really up to the instructor, and we really encourage and will continue to encourage the sort of the entrepreneurial ownership nature of our model. So if you have a course you'd like to propose and you have students who are ready to take it and who you think the feedback will be positive and the students will get what they set out to learn, then we say propose it and build it. The sooner you get your course in the marketplace and enroll students, that's only going to increase your attractiveness and quote marketability to students in the future. I know there's a bit of a chicken and egg scenario with Oplerno right now, just as we're still in the cranking phase of building up our groundswell, but by being one of the early adopters, you will be the one who gets the students who are lining up earliest, and that will only help your ability to fill classes later. So I wouldn't worry about duplications at this point anyway. We have a lot of courses proposed, but as you can tell, not everyone follows through with building it, either because they get committed to other projects or courses or family or whatever. So the ability to propose and build a course quickly is going to give you an advantage, and it will put your course into a smaller group with less duplication and competition. The
Yeah, I'd like to
course.
add
Oh,
something.
go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say, I'd like to add something to that there, which is, of course, doesn't go against the what Dan was saying, but if you have a course whereby you actually think, so if such as you mentioned, Jerry, you have a course where you think some of your former students would love to be able to take this course. If you already have students who would like to take a certain course, so if you've talked to former students and they would like to have a certain course from you, a certain topic that you give or that you're specialized in, then of course that if you already have, say, customers lined up, then I would certainly not ignore them. I would certainly not say, don't build that course, go and find a different course to build. This is, of course, a perfect opportunity to actually jump on top of something that's where there's perhaps a provable market for this course. So I would always also listen to what people around you are telling you, that they would take this course, or that they would even that they've already said to you, if you do this certain course, then I'm going to be the first in line to take this course.
That's a really good point, because there's that whole sort of phenomenon where if one student raises their hand in class, it means something like 10 students have a question. So if one student is saying, I'm willing to take this course, or a group of students and have that need, it's likely that there are other students who will need it, and word of mouth will be your strongest ally in marketing, and that might be a way to leverage some word of mouth spread. Is you already have students who are interested. They already trust you and know your style, know the quality. They're going to be able to vouch further for you, in hoping to attract more students. And like, hey, I just took this class. It was really affordable. I got everything I needed. It was worth 3 credits. It's 12 weeks. Here's the link. That's going to be a strong ally as far as marketing goes. So, yeah, we're always going to say go for it. We might be broken recording a little bit, but we really believe that if we had, us, if we have a better idea, or if we find something doesn't work, we're going to be honest and tell you and switch tracks. But right now, this is what we believe is the best approach. The cost for the Oplerno course, or did you have one more point, Daniel?
Oh no, yeah, no. I was just going to say, if we look at say the current track record and of professors, and of course we always name Gregory Sandler because he's got an absolutely fantastic network. Professor Sandler. If you have a good network, if you're building a network and you're actually discovering and talking to people, talking to potential students, or talking to former students about what you offer, what you plan to offer, then these are also a great starting off points for actually being able to develop a course and to go further with this course.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Oplerno course, building course, I don't want to mention a cost yet because we haven't, kind of signed on the dotted line, but it's going to be well under $200 for each 2-week session, and very affordable for the amount of both content and attention you're going to get. It's a great price point, and it's fair to the instructor who's going to be putting in a lot of time and effort into both building it and then delivering the courses on these 2-week cycles. So the compensation structure is fair, and it was agreed upon completely mutually, and it'll still follow the same compensation structure that we will have for all of our faculty members. So yeah. Or no, it won't be the same because it'll be a more affordable 2-week course, but it'll be the same ratio of allocation of the revenues. And so Dr. Sadler's question, how's enrollment going? We haven't had any new courses kind of queue up to start, so we haven't had any more students than yours. But again, we're working a lot on different development approaches to engage both the traditional and non-traditional student, and maybe even some other sort of professional development, like I mentioned with that integrated to rural tourism class, intro to integrated rural tourism, things like that. We shouldn't sort of cordon off our minds to be pursuing only traditional college students, but anyone who wants to learn skills that is backed by a college credit, system in the state of Vermont's board, and might be wanting to learn new skills or approaches as professional development and continuing education. So we are looking into both of those avenues, and again, that chicken and egg scenario is something we're trying to overcome. So we're working on it.
Certainly, and I think one of the discussions we saw recently, we also had a discussion offline about, or say offline on Podio about this. We're discussing our. Let me just get the bit. Discussing a talk by a Facebook a marketer who was very much saying that's to reach, for people to reach their target audience. So for us to reach the people that we want to reach, and for you, for a professor to reach the people that they want to reach, they should really actually actively reach out. They should actually do something about it and actually go out. Whether this is mailing other people in their address book, not spamming them, of course, but or going out and talking to people. Very important. To build yourself a network, as they like to, as the startups like to call it, building a tribe of people who will follow you and will follow all the things that you're producing. And so that's what we're very busy with as well, with our own Oplerno tribe building, and that involves faculty and it also involves students. It's going pretty well. Oh, we have another question from Jerry. How should we determine which section we should take? I think this is in depth on the ProNo course.
That'll be all outlined by sort of just like any other course. You'll know what skill you'll have needed to fall into, section A, B, C, or D, or however we arrange it. But essentially we have a complete new to online education and learning management systems end of the spectrum, and then we have a familiar with Canvas and Google Hangouts and video conferencing, and just needs to sort of learn tips and tricks to enhance their already established sort of exposure to online learning. So this will all be outlined in the marketplace sections, and it won't be overwhelming, it won't be difficult to decide. But it'll be beginner through, I don't know, I guess if you're a skier, it'd be green circle, blue square, black diamond sort of approach where, it's not set in stone, but if you can handle this stuff, right, maybe you should move on to the next level. But it'll be outlined in the marketplace sections where you can enroll for these courses.
Great. Well, I think I hope that answers your questions, Professor Henderson, and your question, Professor Sadler. Our next portion was outage. Yes, I'm very sad to say this morning we had luckily while you were all sleeping, we had a small outage, and I was able to recover it. There was nothing serious. We just that one of the servers just wasn't. We weren't able to reach one of the servers from the marketplace, but the canvas was up, and all the other places were functioning fine, and we've recovered now. I'm currently still doing a full investigation to see what exactly went wrong and how we can mitigate this in the future. So that's on the outage. Lastly, from me at least on my list is that I'm going to be moving house next week. So I'm moving to I think 1 Street now, and so I'll probably be not as well connected to the internet on next week at the end of the week. So Thursday or Friday, I might not have full internet, but just. So I'm always reachable on my phone. So if you email me, I'm always reachable, and of course I follow everything, all the Twitters and all the internets. So do we have anything else, Sujin?
I don't have anything.
No, that's a Google Doc.
Michael?
The only update for me is that we've entered the launch VT competition
in Burlington, Vermont, and so we are an official entrant, and we'll find out in the next few weeks whether or not we make the finalists for that competition.
Nice. Could you give me a little bit more information about this launch VT?
Launch VT is it's a basically an idea funding pitch competition, and they give anybody who wants information about it can go to launchvt.com. It's hosted by the local Chamber of Commerce here in Burlington, Vermont, and they award the top winner $25,000 in a cash prize, as well as in-kind services. So we're mainly using this as a channel to garner more kind of exposure to Oplerno as an institution, and as many people may know, we received our approval to offer courses through the state of Vermont as a company. So we're going to be utilizing this to continue to provide exposure here, both in Vermont and across the world, on what Oplerno is trying to do in our mission of providing an alternative to traditional higher education.
Well, that sounds great. Thank you for the update.
Yeah.
Dan?
I'm good. I'm excited about the launch VT thing. I think, as opposed to the traditional route of fundraising, these kinds of competitions, even if you don't win, they provide exposure in communities that are full of people who like ideas. And we obviously have a really great idea going here. So I think stuff like this is really good for us.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about the launch VT as well. I think it's also a good preparation for when we get slightly more exposure, that we actually have all our our PR packages and all our. So it gives us a lot of it's a lot of preparation for something which we're certainly going to be using in the future again now. Okay, well, I don't think we'll get Rob back on, so I think that we're going to have to. We don't have to. I think we're going to say goodbye. So goodbye from me, and goodbye from all of us at Oplerno, and we'll see you online.